is. Other questions in that question and answer are: should you consider licensing something to a big company or generating a startup? Well, what I can tell you from our experience with a startup is that there's hardly anything that I've done in my life that was more interesting, fascinating, and exciting than conceiving of something that didn't exist, working with a team to create it, creating a company that would bring it to the world, and then seeing it successfully adopted and valued by others. I can also tell you that there is almost nothing else that I've done in my life that has been so gosh darn hard and so stressful, because it was an eternal roller coaster ride. 1 week, something would happen with the software of the company, and we would all say, 5 years of work down the drain. This is never going anywhere. It's going to be a failure, and we will have wasted hundreds of thousands of dollars of our own investments and a huge amount of time. And the next week, we'd get interest from a new hospital or another company that wanted to partner, and we'd be on top of the world. We're going to all become rich, and we can retire. So every week, it was up and down like that. But my wife called it my hobby, but I'll tell you, it was far more involving than in any hobby. And for those of you who are engaged in research, for those of you who have NIH grants, that in today's world is tough to get an NIH grant. They're only funding 10 or 12% of the applications, and you're competing against the best scientists in the world. Well, starting a research program, getting NIH funding, publishing your research is a challenge, and a worthy challenge for all of us. Starting a company that somebody actually wants to pay money for, I'll tell you, it's 10 times harder. But it is every bit as gratifying, and if not more gratifying. And it is a process that if you're really focused on that kind of challenge and ready to invest that kind of time and effort, it's a fantastic experience that I would encourage you. But there's several prominent innovators right here in this auditorium, and they know what I'm talking about. And this is really what makes the University of California great. It's what makes California as a state great. You know, Catherine, I heard that 1 out of 4 patents comes out of California in the country. 1 out of 4 patents in the country comes out of California. So this is an area that is always on the crazy cutting edge, but that's where the breakthroughs happen, and that's really what the wealth and the greatness of this university, this state, and this country are founded on. And so, I hope all of you are allocating as much of your personal attention, focus, and creativity on this kind of innovation, because that's really what drives us forward. So I'd be happy in the panel to answer any questions about this. I didn't give you a demo of our software because you had me up here talking for an hour. Thanks.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Our last presenter of the evening is someone everyone in this audience should get to know. Dr. Catherine Atchison is Vice Provost in UCLA's Office of Intellectual Property and Industry Relations. A dental educator with 20 years of experience in public health and health sciences research, Dr. Atchison is past president of the American Association of Public Health and Dentistry and a former participant in the Department of Health and Human Services Primary Health Care Policy Fellowship. As Vice Provost, she has transformed the Office of Intellectual Property to facilitate the licensing of the university's intellectual property. She received her D.D.S. degree from Marquette University and M.Ph. degree from Boston University. Dr. Atchison will discuss the UCLA incentives for faculty, the Tech Coast Angels mentoring program, and how UCLA innovation has changed lives. Please help me welcome Dr. Atchison.
Technology transfer at UCLA is about. sympathetic audience, but you never know. There are some people out there who wonder why the university is engaged in technology transfer. And so I hope that I will dispel any notions that what we're doing is not an appropriate use of the university's time and effort. Okay, so other people have already talked about what a winning environment this is at UCLA for conducting research, so I'm going to just keep moving on. You all know that. The technology transfer mission at UCLA is not like every other university. We have a 4-part mission, and the top one there is educating the academic community about appropriate methods for protecting intellectual property. Every time that we meet with an inventor, it's our little teachable moment in which we can talk to people about the way that they can actually move forward with their own IP. We're happy to come out and do seminars. We'll come for department meetings. I have people in the audience. You'll meet with them at the end, but that's our primary mission. We're also trying to accelerate the development of UCLA discoveries, and we're really here to take the types of technology that Neil was talking about and put it out there so that everybody can use it. You may have heard lately about increasing interest in technology transfer. About a month ago, the Department of Commerce in Washington, D.C. held a meeting looking at technology transfer. They invited presidents of universities, heads of companies, because the nation is trying to re-engage with this competitiveness, and they're going to be putting that up for a announcement for the competitiveness initiative for the U.S. Some people are saying that the U.S. is failing in competitiveness. So they're looking at whether they can make better use of the technologies that are coming out of all of this federal monies on research and bringing it home in the U.S. So we're trying to promote economic growth in California, and we're trying to help facilitate collaborations between university scientists and industry so that these technologies actually make it to a new product. And this really came about 20 years ago, 30 years ago, sorry, 1980 with the Bayh-Dole Act. And what happened then was that they changed the ownership. They said that the university would now own the patent rights for the research that came out of federal funding, and that with that right came a responsibility. It was our job to try and commercialize it and let the government know what we were doing with trying to commercialize it. For that, the government gets a non-exclusive license to use any technology that comes from federal funding, and there is a preference for a small business because they're trying to grow new companies. So I know one of the questions in the ones that were submitted was, would we go with the licensing with a large company or a small company? Well, it depends on the technology. So we're going to try and place it with the right place for it to move forward. So if it's something that's really disruptive, like Neil Martin was talking about with the GCQ, it took a while for them to produce it and bring it to the point that a large company was interested in it. So it made sense for this to go to a small company. The other part of the law that I want everybody to note here is that when there is something that is licensed and money comes in, by law, we are obligated to share the royalties with inventors, and that the remainder of it is used for research and education. So, as has already been said, UCLA's IP program, we heard that there was $20 million for the School of Medicine. So overall for fiscal year 08, we're a little bit over $32 million. And, sorry? Oh. So about $32 million, and that's 08, and it had gone up from about $16 million in fiscal year 04. The invention reports has also increased. We've got people going out and helping when you have a question about whether it's time to do your invention disclosure. As you heard, send it in. We'll have one of our staff talk to you, help you with the process, and coach you on whether this is ready or whether you need to do a little more work to strengthen it before moving forward.